Hello and good evening. It is 5:55. Oh my God. And I've been nerdy all day. I've been doing my research. I've been doing things. I love everyone that comments, and somebody commented to me. They commented on the case because I've been posting about the case that I filed. This is my case. It's 405 pages. There's pictures in here. There's all kinds of stuff in here. And the courthouse fails to acknowledge the case by law. You have 45 days to respond to the summons and notice. If someone is suing you, you have 45 days to respond to that notice. That is law. If you fail to respond, the plaintiff wins by default. That is law. Someone commented her name. I just can't believe it because I worked in the court system, 14 years working in the court system, 15 years working in the court system. And I'm just like, it slipped my mind. I forgot. But I know that, you win by default. When they fail to answer, you win automatically. You fucking win. You win because they don't want to respond, so you win by default. Her name is She Has Evolved 8596. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, it's just like an epiphany, like the light bulb went off in my head. Like, yo, I can file for a default judgment. The default judgment. I want to show my caravaca there, my cross, because it's just such a big deal because, I've been fighting for this case since March 1st of 2024. And I tag people. It's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, it's everywhere. I tag them here on YouTube, and I'm like, and no one will acknowledge me. And I'm like, wow, like, I forgot. I could win by default. Winning by default, a default judgment. I'm gonna just read it because anyone can win. Anybody that is suing a place, a business, a corporate, anything, you're suing them and they don't want to acknowledge you, you automatically win the case by default, by filing a default judgment. The thing with that is that you have to pay the fees all over again. But I was like, yo, I'll pay the fees all over again, but then I want double. You're going to have to pay me double because if I got to file these papers again, I want more money. That's plain and simple. Default judgment is a binding judgment in favor of either party based on some failure to take action by the other party. Most often is a judgment in favor for the plaintiff. I'm the plaintiff. I'm the plaintiff. Paulina B. Garcia is the plaintiff. I'm suing the Bronx Supreme Courthouse, the Unified Court System for New York State. I'm suing all of them. And it's filed in federal court also. They never responded, and it has been filed since March of 2024. Most often, it is a judgment in favor for the plaintiff, me. When the defendant has not responded to a summons or has failed to appear before a court of law, the failure to take action is the default. So that's why you win, because they failed to take action. They failed to respond. They failed to acknowledge their negligence. I'm suing. I'm suing them for harassment, for targeting, for bullying, for so many things, for money. It's money too. Money laundering. Like, I don't know. Like, where's the money? Like, where's the money going? Like, oh my God. Money has already been stolen from them. They don't even want to acknowledge the 86,000 that was stolen. Nobody went to jail. Nobody went to jail for that. It's just like, oh, whatever, because it's criminals. It's criminals already there, working there. What is it? Officials, and they're criminals. They're crooks. They're thieves. They're like, if you was to like actually see these people, like, they're criminals in dirty suits. They have dirty suits on. They're missing teeth. It's like, and then they're not, how do you say, educated. Like they're real street and ghetto, and it's just like, how did you get this job? Like, how did you get this job? Like, I don't know. I resigned. I just couldn't take it. It's like everybody's the same. Like they all in dirty suits. Someone knows somebody, and that's why they're there, because that's this one's nephew and this one's what is it? Niece, or they're related. That's the uncle. That's the brother. That's the. I'm like, oh my god, the sister. It's crazy. How long does a default judgment? No, what happens after the entry of a default? Once the clerk enters the default in the court record, the defendant is no longer able to file a response. Once I file that default judgment, they're not even going to be able to respond to this shit. They're not going to be able to respond. Like, what you going to say? How you gonna argue with me? How I want you to argue with me, and they don't want to argue. They don't want to argue. They don't want to say nothing. They want to act like it happened. Nobody wants to take accountability. They want to act like they don't see it. They don't see it. Like, how you don't see this? How you don't see this? How you don't see that file? But like, I can't help stupid, but by law, you can file a default judgment. This is me. I've been trying to get them to respond to me. I've been trying to get someone to answer to this file. I want someone to respond. I want them to. I want somebody to say something to me, and they won't say nothing. They don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to take no accountability for none of the bullshit. None of the things that they have already done. They don't want to own up to it. They want to act like it didn't happen. Okay, then I win. I win by default. I win. There's no other way to put it. Like, I fucking win automatically. That's crazy. How long does it take for a default judgment to be issued? Generally, if a defendant fails to respond to a complaint, you can get a default judgment after 45 days. I'm like, wow. However, the court system is very slow these days, and it can take several months to get the court to issue the default judgment. That was written on August 15th, 2011. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. What is the meaning of a default judgment? A default judgment, also known as judgment by default, is a ruling granted by a judge or a court in favor of a plaintiff. I'm the plaintiff. If the event that the defendant in a legal case fails to respond to a court summons or does not appear in court, by law, you win. I win. By law, I win. I won the court case. I won by default. I won by default because nobody wants to own up to their shit. Nobody wants to say anything. Nobody wants to say anything about it. They want to act like it didn't happen. Like, oh my God, like this shit happened. This happened. But nobody wants to take accountability for it. They want to keep their jobs. Nobody wants to get fired. I would fire everybody. Like, I will fire everybody that's there. Like, you all want to sit here and play in my face. You want to play with me. Like, you know what? I can't wait to go file my default judgment. Default judgment is a binding judgment in favor of either party based on some failure to take action by the other party. Most often is a judgment in favor of a plaintiff when the defendant has not responded to the summons or has failed to appear before a court of law. This failure to take action is the default. Yo, like, you can lose because you don't want to say nothing. You don't want to own up to your shit. Like, oh my God, like, I'm coming to you and I'm telling you all this shit that's going on, and you don't want to say nothing to me. You don't want to argue with me. You don't want to dispute with me. You don't have nothing to say. You don't have nothing to say. I win by default. I win by being pendejo, by being like, I don't know how to say that. How to say that nicely. Like, y'all don't want to say nothing to me. Nobody wants to own up to their They're evil. They're abuse of power. That's what it is. It's abuse of power. But it's fine because I win. I win by default. I have been complaining about this case, I think, for the whole 2024. And then we're in 2025 on March 1st, 2025. It's going to be a year since filing. I could have been filed for the default judgment 45 days after I filed it originally. I filed it originally on March 1st, 2024. March, April. I could have filed it in May for the default judgment. May and April sometime. And I sat and I waited and I fucking waited and I actually waited for somebody to respond. I wanted somebody to respond. I wanted somebody to answer back. I wanted somebody to say something to me because I'm ready for you. I'm fucking ready. I am ready. And then nobody wants to say anything to me. Nobody wants to stand up. Nobody's going to say nothing to me. Like, oh my, like, breathe, like, just breathe, calm down, like, it's okay, you win. I win by default. I win because nobody wants to fucking stand up. Nobody wants to take accountability. Nobody wants to be the boss, be the boss of your shit. Like, you do all this shit and then you don't want to own up to nothing. You don't want to own up to anything. Are you serious? Like, it's so much money on the line and nobody wants to own up to it. So, and then it's just going to go in debt to the Bronx Supreme Courthouse because nobody wants to own up to their shit. Nobody wants to take accountability for their shit, for their failure to do their job. Nobody wants to do their job. Y'all want to keep your jobs. They want to keep their job and act like this document wasn't filed. Like, wow. I want what I want. I want everybody to sue the courthouse, sue them. You know, they have 45 days to answer whatever it is that you suing them for. They have 45 days to answer. They want to sit here and they want to play with me. Yeah, let them play with the general public. Let them play with the public. Let them play with the rest of the people in the Bronx, 45 days. After 45 days of them not acknowledging your court document, that you're filing a court document and you're saying that something is happening and you don't like something and you're suing them for X amount of money. Yeah, they don't answer. Yeah, you can sue them again. Not sue them again. You file a default judgment. You will automatically win your judgment because they failed to acknowledge you. That is the law. You can Google it. Default judgment. Default judgment. It can be for civil court. It could be for Supreme Court. It could be for family, whatever court. Whatever court it is. You figure it out. What are their fees? What's the legal fees? You could file it. You could sue anybody you want to sue. You could sue them. You can sue them. And they have 45 days to respond. They fail to respond. You win. You win by default. What happens? The bank puts a lien on their bank, takes all the money from their bank account. Everything is frozen from their bank accounts. How is anything going to get frozen from the Bronx Supreme Courthouse, from the unified court system? How are y'all going to pay me? How am I going to get paid? Like, where's the money going to come from? Because everybody's corrupt. Everybody's stealing. Nobody wants to own up to their shit. Nobody wants to take accountability. Where's the money going to come from? I'm filing a default judgment, and it something has to give, something has to happen, because I'm gonna just put more pressure and more pressure, because if I can do it, other people can do it too. Because you can sue anybody. You can sue anybody. And they have 45 days to respond to whatever it is that you saying that they suing you for. Like, what? I can't believe that you suing me for, yeah. So say something. Say something. Respond. Respond to it so that you don't have to pay whatever it is. So you can dispute it. So you can settle it. But you gotta own up to your shit. Failure to respond is an automatic judgment in favor of the plaintiff. The plaintiff is the person that is filing a claim against you. It's the law. This is the law. Whatever. I'm going to do what I got to do. Stay positive. I'm going to vibe high. I'm going to leave with love. Leave with love. Even though no one has acknowledged me for this court case. It's like, wow, no one has acknowledged me. No one has taken accountability for their shit. And I win. I win. And I win by default. And it's like, wow, you rather have me win by default than to argue with me, dispute with me. You don't want to say nothing to me because they did all this shit to me and nobody wants to say nothing. It's okay. It's okay because I'll win. I win. I win. I win. I win by default. I win by default. Nobody fucking owned up to their shit. Nobody said, "Oh, I didn't do that," and nobody said anything. And I'm just like, wow. Y'all don't wanna argue. Like you don't want to dispute anything. It's fine. It's fine. Fine. Leave a love. Oh, and file a default judgment. If you want to sue somebody, you sue them. They have 45 days to respond. They don't respond within 45 days. You file a default judgment, you will automatically win the lawsuit. Their accounts will get frozen. That's what happens with the courthouse. The courthouse will freeze their accounts, freeze their bank accounts, freeze their assets, their possession. They won't be able to do anything. They won't be able to move. Why? Because they failed to acknowledge you with the court document. And you win by default. You win. I win by default. Like, can you believe that? By default. I win by default. Like they didn't want. Wow. Leave with love. Bye.